Hey, what's good everyone? Welcome to another video. This one's going to be a kind of a what's next video. Before I get stuck in, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my own page, my own website, ifyoupause.com. I've got some additional videos on there, and sometimes I get messages in from you guys asking me questions about certain things, so that's kind of what inspires the videos on there. If it's kind of a reading or just a message from some of you, I've got some paid products on there which hopefully answer some of your questions. So yeah, plug out of the way. This video is going to be a kind of a what's next reading. Hopefully provide you with some guidance from spirit. And yeah, as always, pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. I'll get stuck into pile number 1s. Quite strange how this is coming through quite loosely. I'm not sure if the audio is picking up on my sparkling water, but I can hear it really loud. It's really funny. I don't think that's coincidence. So sorry if it's irritatingly loud, but okay. Kind of a loose drawing of a man. Oh no, it's definitely a dude, but let's just say a figure. I was gonna try and save myself from the save myself with the pronouns and stuff, but it's definitely a dude, y'all. No shade at all, but it's definitely a dude. So yeah, like it's a figure here, like doing karate. But there's a certain amount of, there's a certain few energies that were coming through. Like, so as always, kind of what do you see and what do you feel, part number 1s? And it's interesting here because you've got someone in essentially combat, but there was a few different types of vibration that were coming through here. One, thankfully, was love. I'm going to do, funnily enough, like the if you pause sign here, which doesn't necessarily mean this, but in this circumstance, it's actually symbolizing connection. It's not really what if you pause was built on, to be honest, but that's what it's standing for here. That kind of feeling of like someone, yeah, what my fingers were doing, you know, like connecting, like someone having your back type energy. And that's meant to be an arrow there, just symbolizing moving forward or going for something. So I found that quite interesting with all these different vibes coming through. Because when you, sorry, when you see this image, you you thinks you kind of visualize something or possibly even feel something which is quite aggressive, fighting, but yet it's got these different things supporting it. And it does remind me a little bit, to be honest, of like a soldier. You know, there's some soldiers who go out to fight and they're like, why the hell am I fighting this war? It makes no sense. And then you have other soldiers who go out and fight because they're fighting for their wife and their children and the survival of their country, to defend their country, to defend their belief systems. Two completely different types of soldiers, right? And I think that's what this reading is kind of teasing us to remind us of, to inspire us into that kind of train of thought and understanding that possibly within ourselves. So you've got this fire here, which initially gives the vibration of someone in fight, you know, so it's quite in energy, quite red, quite aggressive. But then there's these other feelings spiraling off, and like I said, there's love there, which I'm not sure, Pal Ones, you might be in a way kind of fighting for love in a different in a way. There's also this energy here of connection, which the example that I kind of got was like when someone has your back, and sometimes when someone has your back, it doesn't even just mean like, I don't just want to paint the picture of here like of a good friend. Just today, actually, I was in the supermarket and someone just done a really friendly gesture to me. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I was just like, I was in real gratitude because I knew that that gesture that was done was not normal, you know? So I just appreciated that, and it kind of made me feel like, although this was a physical human helping me, I felt like that was God, God, like a God blessing me, making my day that bit easier. And then we've got this kind of moving forward here. This just reminds me quite simply of like purpose, of what you're fighting for, the reason. So, you know, if anything, Pile Number One's a great thing to take away from this reading would be like, at the moment, what is the purpose you're fighting for? Who are your loved ones that you're fighting for? And what is your connection with, could be the people on your purpose, and if not that, kind of just your spiritual team, God, and who's got your back. So yeah, I don't know, I think that was a beautiful reading, Part Ones. If you enjoyed it, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe, and as I said in the intro, check out the If You Pause website. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, pile number 2's kind of loosely drawn illustrations today. Let's drink this sparkling water, I can hear it. Not sure if you can hear it, part 2's. You know what, I'm going to leave that there. For now, actually no, I'm not. Gonna just sit on the energy for a bit longer. Okay. So interesting here. A very slight sign here with the motion, the movement. Now, I can always tell the difference between an illustration mistake and a, sorry, that sparkling water. Sway partus. I can always tell the difference between an illustration mistake and something that was intuitively meant to be. Now, there's something quite beautiful here about this intuitive drawing meaning to be this way, but I didn't pick up on it initially, is the footing of this character. Now, if you watch my videos for a while, you'll know that this position, for example, that I've drawn isn't abnormal. I've drawn like a female figure in this position many times before. But there's a slight clue to this drawing, which is she's got one foot. It's not that it's longer than the other, it's that she's actually stepping on one foot. And what she's actually doing here is like balancing. So it's the analogy of someone walking on water. And I would say not a tightrope because it's not delicate enough. It's not narrow enough either. It would be more the equivalent of a very narrow bridge or a narrow plank of wood, you know, walking the plank. So these are some key words for you. You know, that sadly does remind me a little bit of like slavery when like slaves were thrown off the boat. And it reminds me a little bit of like the whole pirate theme, where I think that's where maybe the walking the plank comes from. But yeah, so it's got that kind of pirate edge to it as well. Sorry, someone's drilling outside. I hope it doesn't pick up on the noise. So yeah, what a beautiful little touch that this person is actually walking. So however that resonates with you, like if that's walking on water, kind of take that away, pile number twos, and use that as you see fit. Or if it's kind of walking the plank. So what does those two analogies give to you, pile twos? They're very different, they're very opposing. But actually, I'm kind of just getting from spirit, actually, they are two of the same thing. Because what I'm getting here is that they are both kind of reliant on faith. And they're reliant on faith where the odds are very much against that person. So if someone was to ask that person walking the plank, what's your likelihood of surviving walking that plank, they're probably going to say 0. And if someone was to say, what's the chance of you walking on this water and surviving? It's pretty much the same thing. Which is why these readings are that's why those two options were actually very simple. Only that the walking on the water gives the impression of that it's actually happened. Whereas the walking the plank gives the vibration that it's suspense. it's the unknown. It's the it's the awful anxiety before the moment of plunging into the water. But the result is actually the same, which is really awesome. So thanks for Spirit for clarifying that. What we're talking about here basically is defining the odds, and that's what you want to do, pile twos, is you're defining the odds. These two symbols here were just to help support the reading. I was kind of getting the scales, so there's something in the balance here. It could be a little bit, pile number twos, like I can think of times like this in my life for sure, where it's kind of the popcorn moment where, you know, when you're walking that plank, you know, people are almost just enjoying the fact that you're about to plummet into the bottom of the sea. But actually, little do they know that you're about to walk on water, you know, you're about to be that miracle. And I don't want to be too woo-woo with you, pile number twos, because we know, at least in this earthly realm, that walking on water is somewhat impossible. But as a metaphor, you know, that's the important thing to take away from this, is that there's a sense of, you know, whatever you're about to take on is going to appear like literally somewhat of a miracle to people. And that's what people might be saying around you. How did you do that kind of energy? So this is the scales, just playing on that whole metaphor of something being in the balance. Could be to do with that Libra energy, as we know that's the Libra sign in astrology. And this was a very simplified version of some form of like, would you say a feline or cat animal, cat mammal? It was kind of, I was getting kind of images flashing before me, which varied from like the saber-toothed tiger, which is what this is meant to represent here, this kind of tooth. There's one large tooth here, was reminding me of like a saber-toothed tiger, and then a panther as well that was coming through. So any people who are fans of Black Panthers and the Black Panther movies and comics, this is kind of some confirmation for you, and maybe somewhat of a reminder of what's underpinning this reading, the energy behind this reading. It's kind of got that behind it. So again, whatever that character symbolizes for you, I don't want to put any images into your head, but kind of what kind of takeaways did you get from that movie? And they're probably going to be clues to how this walking off the plank is going to happen for you. So pile number two's beautiful reading. Thank you for being here as always. As I said in the introduction, please check out the If You Pause website. And yeah, remember to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for being here. Take care. Okay, pile number threes. Just sitting on the energy. There's kind of just a loose style going on here. Pile number threes. Really interesting. It's funny because it reminds me a little bit of Dragon Ball Z characters, and yeah, Spirit is really highlighting this, like the hair being like a flame. Um, Gosh, there's so much in this reading, Palfreys. So much going off. Like, th- this was originally the arm. Because sometimes when I'm channeling in this way, it's hard to say, but it's like, gosh, it's hard to say. For anyone who can do this, you maybe understand what I mean, but I've said it before in other readings, you can feel like you've made a mistake, and it's not that you're making a mistake, it's that it's like the process is a little bit like a 3D printer. So like, like if I was to draw a human body here, um, if I started with the head, you would know that I'm starting to draw a person. But like if I started here with drawing this hand, you might not know what I'm drawing. And that's kind of how it can't, or not even the foot, because you'll probably quickly acknowledge that it was a leg. But all I'm saying is that there's certain processes where it feels like, what is that? What's going on there? And then it reveals itself. And there's this energy here that was meant to be like the arm. And that's, I just felt Spirit saying, no, continue. That's meant to be like that. But I was like, but you're showing me in this way, clenched up. And then it kind of showed it as like an aura wave. And then that aura wave became almost like wings. And I was thinking, oh man, this is for like that kind of fairy energy. Anyone who's kind of relates to that fairy energy, I feel like that's for people. This is your reading. Like if you've ever related to fairies, and Spirit was like, and like I want you to explain how the the wings work. And this is a really, really stunning reading, Palfreys, when you understand the depth of where this is going. And Spirit was like, explain it in the sense of this is the person releasing their wings for the first time. And this is why the hair is shooting up. Because basically what is happening here, and I can't think of a way to explain this without the crudest and most stupid example that's coming to me is constipated. When someone is really taking a shit, basically. Think of every way that you've seen that illustration drawn. Any animation you've seen where someone is trying to push out a shit. Or I guess you could say like a pregnancy would be a better example. So let's switch that up. Sorry, Palfreys. When someone's given birth, that's probably the better example, but there's an immense sense of force and possibly, you could even say discomfort beyond force. And that's what's going on here, is that there's an amount of force going out of this being. And it's in that force that the wings push out, that this aura projects in this way, which is the releasing of the wings, which is what the wings are. That's what Spirit was saying, is that these wings are basically just your auras. And I don't know, maybe years from now we will have kind of maybe scientific evidence of auras. But what Spirit was telling me is that not only do people have different forms of aura, for example, like, like how someone could say, like, black people have more curly hair than white people, like Western people, Caucasian people. It just is the way it is, the way that we've evolved, or the way that we always have been, who knows. We have different shapes of aura, and then that's one explanation. And then Spirit was also saying that we also have the ability to manipulate our auras. So when you advance in terms of your energy, you can actually manipulate your aura in the same way as like changing your hairstyle. You can do that with your aura. In this example here, I think what we're seeing is someone who's naturally, like, you could call it like that fairy type energy coming into it. But Spirit just wanted me to elaborate that this is the way that that energy flows in terms of this being. But it doesn't mean that they can't make that aura circular once they've mastered their aura. It's like their aura vibration. So pile number 3 is just a wow of a reading. Thank you for finding me, because you're allowing me to share this information, and it's beautiful. And it's a blessing to be a messenger of this information. And I just want to remind you that this reading is a lot to do with, like I said, a constipation and a release. I'm not sure if that word is used. I think it is. It can be used for more than just your stomach, I think, or your digestive system. But there's a sense here of a releasing, but a strain. So pile 3, you might be going through a strainful moment, but just remember at the end of this, we've got this illustration to show you here that this is why you're straining. Isn't that a beautiful reason to strain? Is because this is what you're evolving into being. This is what the pain is for. And that is a beautiful end product, an end being, an end love. So, pile 3 that's your reading. If you enjoyed it, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, as I think I mentioned in the introduction. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.